Our featured speaker is a gift to humanity. She genuinely connects people with their lost relatives and loved ones on the other side. She is the host of 2 television programs, The Seance and Mensajes de Los Angeles. She is a spirit medium who genuinely is able to communicate with people who have moved on from this plane, and someone whom I am so proud to call a student, a mentor, a guide for me in my life, and a friend. Please welcome Gail Trauco.
I'm going to take y'all back to January 1975, my grandparents' farmhouse in Foggy Bottom, North Carolina. It was cold outside. The rain leaked through this tin roof, and I was sitting there studying for a chemistry test by the light from a kerosene lamp. My grandfather came in from work, took off his work boots, left them by the door just like he did every day, decided after supper he was going to go outside and smoke his evening cigarette and sit on his stool for a while on the front porch. Well, when he walked out and went down the steps to go out and smoke, he tripped and fell over his work boots. The dog had moved them. He comes walking back in, crushing pain in his chest, and I looked up and I said, "I'm studying for a chemistry test. My sister needs to drive him to the doctor." The emergency room wasn't an option because we didn't have health insurance. So my 16-year-old sister and my 12-year-old sister drove him to the local family practitioner's office. An hour later, neighbors knocking at the door. We didn't have a telephone. They called the next door neighbors. My grandfather passed away. On the table in the family practitioner's office, never taken to a hospital for any type of emergency care. Suddenly, I was very aware there was no wage earner. My grandmother's Social Security income was $200 a month. They had 5 grandchildren living with them. They raised us from birth. Don't know why my mother kept getting pregnant. She never figured that one out. But they raised us all. So I went to Wake Forest with my next door neighbor, brought my sisters home in our old ragtag automobile, and we got ready to bury my grandfather. Well, about 3 days later, I knew very quickly I had something that was different to help me survive than my brothers and sisters. I'm a psychic medium. I've been born with the gift since I entered this earth. And down south, hush your mouth is very much respected in a traditional Southern Baptist family. The first spirit I ever met, I was 5 years old playing in the Baptist church graveyard after church. I didn't realize she was dead because she wore the same dress every week. I did too. I had one dress and one pair of shoes. So, I thought, this is groovy, another kid just like me. Well, by the time I was 8, my chores in the morning included feeding the hogs. Well, I go out with a slop bucket one morning, gonna do my thing with the animals before I go to school. There's a man standing by the hog pen with a pair of overalls on. Well, I knew who he was, and I knew he was not alive. It was my great-grandfather. For the next 10 years, I spent every morning walking that farm with my great-grandfather. I learned everything I know about horses, cows, sheep, dogs, how to raise crop, how to drive a tractor from my great-grandfather. I told my grandparents stories about when they were young before they got married. How do you know that? Pa Hagwood told me so. I don't know if they ever believed me or if they thought that I was just a very good listener when I would go visit my relatives. Being a psychic medium is a gift. It can be a curse when you live in areas where it's not accepted. I have a divine connection to the other side, and I am the world's first medium to be invited to speak at West Point. I stand before you today and tell you that leaders that are connected to the other side, that are aware of the celestial presence of God and the angels and those who have crossed over. Apostle Paul works to my right. He works with me every day, follows me every step that I make. To the left is General Custer, Brigadier General Earl Burrell from Ohio that I met when I was 10 years old. These men stand before you today, divinely connected to the other side, to bring you messages from your loved ones who were there. What happens when someone dies? You grieve. That spirit grieves as well. They desire to deliver their messages to you to answer your own unanswered questions. What would happen if you had the ability to ask someone who abused you, why did you do that? Or as a parent, why weren't you there to raise us? Mediums provide that information for you. I am an evidential medium. I provide you with evidence that your loved ones are alive and well on the other side. The celestial plane is right here where we are. When you feel that they're in your presence, they are. So I challenge all of you as leaders to be open to receiving divine guidance from the other side, to be open to opening your mind to get a reading. There's a person on this side of the room that lost someone to a gunshot wound to the head. Over here, someone lost someone in a drowning, an 8-year-old. Those messages are there. Those spirits are here to deliver those messages to you, to enable you to lead and enable you to live a grief-free life and help you move forward as a leader. Thank you.
Take it in. Take it in. Gail Trauco. Thank you. Thank you.